Yo, what up guys, alright goal, chosen energy. Today is the day 22 of 2020. It is an amazing powerful day because for a while I've been seeing 122 and today is January 22nd of 2020, which means that I've been seeing 122 this whole time, and January being the first month. So it's a pretty unique one. It's been a really cool day. I don't want to talk more about it besides just telling you that because I just want to just let things flow. That's another thing. Whatever you are experiencing, feel it. But don't over express it or be over surprised, because when you get over surprised, the magic kind of goes away, vanishes. So it's best to just kind of like enjoy it, be grateful, just keep it inside you and just let it flow and just let it be. But don't overthink it by saying, wow, this is so awesome, I just love it. I mean, yeah, be grateful, but don't talk about it so much, because then you'll kind of like almost show resistance, like, oh, it's only a one-time thing, you know? That's the reason why you should not talk about it or brag about it, because your spiritual, amazing higher being doesn't like when you brag or just feel like you got. Yeah, definitely keep it inside you and just let it flow. Of course, share with your friends if you like, but don't overshare. Okay, and that said, today's topic, we are going to cover the dimensions and the density and how we are right now in a time where we're actually shifting to higher level of consciousness. So I just thought I will make this one on this day. And the fact that it's 22nd is a metaphysical number, which is a very powerful number. So I just thought it was very relevant to the fact that it is the first 22nd of the 2020, which is the metaphysical, like the first metaphysical day of 2020. Which it means that we are going to speak a little metaphysical here. And that's it. Let's jump on this preach and see what's in it. Today I decided to talk about dimensions and perception from different levels of dimensions. On Earth, we are living in 3D and are surrounded by duality, which is bad and good, dark and light, easy and hard. So it is normal to see 99% of the masses to live by duality and conditions that come with 3D reality. That's really what's happening. It's been, I mean, since day one, Earth has been, people on Earth, like humans, we have been living in 3D, which is like the, not three-dimensional, but we are not not the third dimension, but we have been living in third density, which is a fourth dimension. And the way you can tell the difference is that the density is kind of like, think of it as the, it's hard to explain actually without kind of like sounding confusing, without confusing you guys. So I'm just going to say that 3D means third density, which means it's fourth dimensional, like fourth dimension, which means that we believe in time, and time is fourth dimension. 3D is just the third density means time, and it means duality, and then the 5D means from love, from the heart, you know. So just to cover that, so when I go forward, you will know what it means, and things will actually make more sense. Okay. Moreover, in 3D reality, we have that of what we call time, which is a 4D concept, like I was just saying, that is embedded in 3D, and then that's there for us to keep track of our lives and function in 3D, since without time, the subtle constructs will not be applicable, and therefore we won't be able to function without 3D conditioned ego. And that's really the truth. Without the time, our world will not function, because we've been conditioned enough with time, that construct of like, hey, without time, like things will not work, it will not function. Like we cannot have a work environment, meaning we can't really have, like people will not work, you know, because I mean, they'll work eventually, but my point is like the companies, the labor will not exist, because there's no like 9 to 5, there's no salary, there's like, everything will be like very, it'll be chaotic if we just remove time. So let's just say that time is necessary as much as we can be aware of it. It is still necessary to function in third density. When we go to a high density, then it does not matter anymore. Like right now, we're actually we are on our way to a higher density. That is the reason why, if you probably noticed, the past year or even 2 years or even more has been going much quicker and quicker. Like 2019 went much faster than my 2018, and my 2018 went much faster than my 2017. I don't even know how from 2017 to 2020 it went really so fast. it went so fast that I actually don't even know how it went that fast. I feel like it was still yesterday, because especially when my parents divorced in 2017 of September, I feel like it was just yesterday because they were just fast. That is the reason why many people are waking up, and time is becoming something that people still put emphasis on, of course, because that's how you function in 3D, because the density still stays, and we must still function in the density like the way we do. We just think from our heart and live from our hearts in order to live better and manifest things easier. But it is still important to recognize the 3D, the construct, and just kind of like go with the rules, because, and when I say rules, I don't mean like follow rules, but I kind of mean like follow rules, but I don't mean like be conditioned and go find a like 9-to-5 job or be slave to money. Not that way, but I meant like just accept, beyond that, the calibration of reasoning and acceptance, by accepting the 3D construct and the density, and by accepting, so you'll be able to actually shift yourself much easier to the 5th dimension, because and which is the 4th density, but it's the 5th dimension, where you will literally live like Harry Potter or like Lord of the Rings or any other magical movie you can think of, where you will just think stuff and it'll just come to you. And I'm not talking about magic here, but it is kind of magical. And at that point, time will no longer be viable in your reality. That is the coolest part of going to your higher density. Like right now, I don't want to speak big, and I don't want to put myself like, no ego there, nothing egotistical. But I don't believe in time right now. When someone calls me, I said it before, and tells me when can we come and meet you, like a client, I'll just tell them like, hey, just call me when you're ready, and I'll tell you if I am. That's literally what I tell them. Many people, they think that it's kind of a joke. They're like, are you sure? Like, you're gonna be available? I'm like, let's see what it's meant to be. Because if I'm not available and they call me and I have to do something else that I was doing just to kind of cater them, then that's gonna kind of almost like mess up my timeline and mess up my energy and my flow state. Not even timeline, but the flow state, but timeline too, of course. You can say timeline, because if you're on a high flow state, you're on a different timeline, meaning you are just going on that high frequency. So that is the way that I live already, and that's what I encourage you guys to do as much as possible. If you have a 9-to-5 job or whatever job you have, it's okay. Still, please, kind of a rule. Let's say if you have to plan your weekend because you're not working, don't plan every minute of what you're gonna do. Just say, yeah, set intentions to do things, but don't plan every minute by like, yeah, at 5 o'clock I have to pick up. I mean, unless your kids are like going to like anything, or you have dinner plans, is different. But don't let time be so important in your life, and you'll be timeless. It's just amazing. It's fascinating how that works once you allow how things happen, but it's just all about allowing. Okay, yeah, another half paragraph to go, so I don't want to go too much over time here. I didn't even put time, but I'm sure it will be fine. Okay, at this very moment, we are living in 3rd density, which is not the same as 3D dimension. And so you're not confused, like I was just saying earlier. 3D density exists in 4th dimension, which means that we are now and have been 4th dimensional beings for a while, since we still utilize time to execute most of our everyday chores. Like I was saying earlier, it is important for us to function in the 3rd density, which makes us 4D dimensional beings. Fortunately, in 2019 and now going into 2020, we are all experiencing this shift to 4th density, aka 5D, and of course, some of us are feeling the shift more than the others, depending on how aware we are of it. That is really very, very true. I personally feel I resonate more with the 5D consciousness now than I was a year ago. That's how I've come. Like 2 years ago, actually a year ago, when I first found Aaron Dowdy, I found him through Victor Otto, because that was my first person that I actually saw on YouTube, and that's where I was guided to see that video, which was about light workers. And I told him that actually this at set point, and he's like, oh yeah, most of the people are actually found that video first. Like, that's so cool. At that point, I was that was like a year and a half ago. I think so, right? I think it was a year and a half ago. I was very clueless. I was much less aware than I am now. Let's just put it that way. So not every single one of us is going to be on the same level and on the same awareness. But as we go and we allow, things will just seem to kind of come to us and guide us to raise the vibration. And as long as we allow, it'll just kind of be downloaded to us, and we'll be guided to actually know more about who we really are. And hence, that will raise our vibration and awareness, and also consciousness. As we raise our 5D level of consciousness, we will think, feel, and act more from our heart chakra, and will no longer resonate with the 3D cellular construct, and will feel resistance to it naturally. And that will be a natural selection where you will literally start to no longer resonate with things that are like 3D. I'm not saying you will oppose it or you will resist it, but you will have resistance at first. It may take you a year, it may take you a month, it may take you a week, not a week, probably at least a month. But you'll have that because of all your conditioning from your ego. Like you'll have that from just until you literally clear all those layers by letting go, like layer by layer, like shading layer by layer and purging. It'll be a little bit of time before you will have no resistance. It took me almost a year, actually around there, give or take, to actually have no resistance. And even until this day, like there's time that I actually just bounce back to that wagon once in a blue moon, and I just like have resistance once in a blue moon. Just because, let's say my vibe is down because something just came up and some old person saw me, or some little event happens. It can be anywhere, I imagine. So if that happens to you, don't feel like you lost it. Just say, okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna stay in the present moment, and you'll be back at it again like this. Okay. Moreover, as our conditions are peeled off like a banana, we will naturally do things that are more close to our hearts and within our passions. And that's really what will happen. Naturally, you'll just feel like conditions will just come out and just purge out by themselves, as long as you just meditate and allow. And just always stay in the present moment. And once you do, as long as you stay in the present moment, you will literally allow the universe to and your higher being to do their part without interfering with their work of art. Okay, one must know that in order for them to transition and shift their level of consciousness, they must allow and appreciate the previous density that they still reside in, which in this case will be 3D, in order to show no resistance for them to be able to raise their vibration from 300, 400, calibrated the vibration to 500, which is the vibration of love. That is literally what I was saying a second ago. It's all about allowing, so you'll be able to raise. And how do you allow? By showing no resistance. Because if you show resistance, you're not allowing it. You're actually blocking it out from actually coming to you. That's what I meant by no resistance. Like, whatever is happening, don't doubt it. Don't fear it. Don't feel fear towards it. Just let it come. Just let it go. Just know that it's happening for you and not to you. So it's just happening for your own good. If you have that mindset and just let things just roll and let that 3D just play its part in the background, like almost like a background image in a photo that you just took a selfie of, just think of it in that analogy, and things will just happen themselves for you, and it'll just be a very easy, almost inevitable journey for you to become the hero that you are, which is your higher being. And at that point, once you become the hero and you feel like your higher being, you have that same exact consciousness, which is also known as the Christ consciousness. You'll see everything from love. Even if you see like a cockroach on the floor in a public bathroom, you will not kill it. You'll be like, no, that's part of consciousness. I'm not saying don't kill any consciousness ever again, but like that's how you will feel. You'll literally feel like Buddha. You'll literally feel so in love with everything that everything will just come. Like you'll see everything with so much love that nothing else will matter. Like whatever negative is in your life, it'll just diminish and just like fade out, and you'll just literally feel like the only way you can actually feel happy is by being in the present moment and loving everything and everyone and having no reaction and having no judgment. That's the other thing that I didn't mention in this preach is the way you transition, the way you shift from 3D, from third density to fourth density, which is the 5D level of consciousness, is by not reacting to things and just allowing things to happen and just observing it. Because if you just stay in your neutral state and you just think of positive thoughts and positive intentions you set inner and outer, you literally will create your reality. It's not a joke, like literally. Like if you just stay neutral and just not let any other negative thought in your head, and you just allow yourself to just think whatever you want to come in your life and however you want your reality to be, then all you gotta do is just stay neutral. Don't react to whatever happens around you, because most of the people that you are around, they're all reactive. They're all in this like reactive mode, almost like they're like ready to fight, because that's what they're trained for. They're trained by the news, by the people around them, the magnetic energies, the electromagnetic fields that surrounds them, which are also known as pendulums, and then the people that are around them, which they have their own electromagnetic energies around them. So those impact all of us. So if you just allow yourself not to react towards anything, anyone, just allow it to just come and just observe and just let it go, then you will like literally, inevitably and effortlessly, you will actually progress and actually transition and shift yourself into the 5D without even trying. It'll just literally be something that you will never, ever, ever regret, because it's something that will give you a set point, which is a new beginning, and you will see life like as if it is the most beautiful, magical Harry Potter life you can ever imagine. And when it's Harry Potter, I mean magical, you'll be able to manifest things in a light speed, almost like a Tesla. It'll be like quick, done, like 0 to 100 in less than a second. It'll just be like almost like a light bulb, like off and on. You'll just think it and it'll just come to you. And that's how amazing it is. And lastly, I want to say this actually was supposed to be a quote, but I made it so long that I just thought I should put it at the end of my preach. And here we go. Lastly, allow 3D to play in the background, like I was just saying, while you live from 5D, which is the 5D level of consciousness, and you will feel timeless and ageless as a fourth density being, as 4D, which is time, vanishes away as you live in the present moment. What that's saying is, like I was just saying, just to kind of recap, is if we allow the 3D to play in the background while living from our hearts and doing what we love and just following our passion to find our purpose and having a purpose in life, not the whole purpose of like, oh, that we need to get married, we need to have a nice car, a house, a mortgage, 401k, savings, stocks, all this stuff. That's not literally a purpose. That's like the conditioned purpose from society that they want you to play in, so they'll be able to profit and actually run a society that is full of greed and just like sins and everything else. So that's the society version. But just start literally doing things from your heart, which is from a fifth level of consciousness, then you will feel timeless and ageless. And what that means is that once you raise yourself to the 5D, time will no longer exist. And there's actually science behind it. I'm not sure the person's name. I think his name is like Teddy. That's his show or his program, Teddy something. He literally said this, and he did research, and he's almost done. Stephen Tyler actually like talked about him on in a podcast. They say once you live timeless and you literally feel like you are living in the moment and you don't actually care about the past or the future, you just want to just live and just enjoy life and do what you love, you become ageless. That is the reason why Stephen Tyler from Aerosmith, he's 70 years old and he looks like 45 or 50 max. And he still looks like, and he still talks and thinks that he's young. And he's saying that he can actually believe how, when he looks back, he still remembers when he was 30 years old, like actually just writing songs and playing in concerts. He still feels like he's 30 or 25. He's like, he never aged after that. He confessed that he has no idea how time flew and how he became 70, because when he looks back, he still remembers when he was like 30, 40, like in 1988, just writing songs, doing stuff, like doing concerts, and he still does, by the way. But he doesn't know how that 30-year gap, how it went so fast, because he never actually acknowledged the time and the age, because he was doing what he loved. Therefore, time and age became obsolete in his reality. That is the reason why he looks so young. And he's literally like a proven fact, an archaeological proof that if you live from a fifth dimensional perspective, coming back to the subject here, you'll feel ageless and timeless without the fourth dimension, which is time. And as time fades away, because you'll be living in the fifth dimension, you live in the now, you'll never age, at least spiritually and both physically. Because when you don't believe in age and you don't feel old and you don't live in those constructs, like you're 70, you're supposed to retire, you're 60, you're supposed to go to the elderly, whatever, etc., then you never age. That's literally the key. The research was, I just remember the research. The research that the TED guy did, I will put the thing down if I do recall after I'm editing this video. He said the more childlike you are and the more you are passionate about who you are and what you do, and still always and remain childlike, meaning do what you loved as a kid and you will just be a kid. Don't feel like you're older, like that mindset. You will physically not age, because what happens is in a biological study, in a really cool research actually, scientific research, they say that if you don't actually think that you're old, you won't get old, because what happens is your skin will keep on, of course that it doesn't mean go get wasted and faded and do all these drugs and say, hey, I'm not going to get old, but he did all that actually for 20-30 years, and he's a proven fact. He's like a proven sample from the history of humans, that if you live and do what you love, even if you use drugs, I'm not saying go use drugs, but even if you use drugs and alcohol, which he did a lot, and he just quit like in 1988, he became sober, which is good. That's why he's still alive, which is great. You will not get old, and you'll physically look young, and spiritually will always feel like you're a child, which is a good thing. I'm not saying act like a child and be destructive, but you will feel like you never aged. And that feeling is so priceless that no money in the entire world can ever come close to equating to that level of abundance, love, and bliss. And that's it. Have an amazing, beautiful day. Thanks for the work and for the love. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the thumbs, hit the comment. You know what you're doing, and I'll see you guys in day 23 of 2020. And with that said, much love, peace, and namaste. Happy shifting, and stay vibey.